Hello, women of the channel. I'm Jacquie Rives, your community leader, and welcome to another Woman of the Week. This week, we have the pleasure of getting to know Linsey Miller, President, Global Distributed IT, Global Data Center segment with Eaton. Hi, Linsey. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, Jackie. Thank you for having me.
Well, I am really excited. So let's dive into those icebreakers. Where do you live and where did you grow up if that's different?
I split my time between the West Coast and Chicago, where our distributed IT business is headquartered at Eaton and in the process actually of relocating. And so I grew up in West Texas of all places and, not a typical childhood growing up during the boom and the bust of the oil economy, but I learned a lot at a young age about that. It's great when you can live in different places throughout your life because you always make the best of wherever you are. And so I'm very thankful for that kind of a random journey of how I got to where I am today.
I love that. Yeah, I have a similar lots of moves in different places. And you're right, it is really cool because you learn so much and meet so many new and wonderful people. What is a little known or fun fact about you that you don't mind sharing?
Okay. I literally just thought of the first thing that came to mind, and that is that my childhood nickname is Beaker because I loved watching the Muppets and Sesame Street and all those shows when I was a kid, and my favorite character's name was Beaker, and when he took his glasses off, he didn't have any eyes, and I just thought that was hilarious, and I would just burst into tears of laughter whenever I saw him, and then my parents gave me that name, and it's still what they call me. So,
Well,
yeah.
that's so awesome. I love that. That's exactly who I thought of when you said that. I was like, oh, I bet that's what she means. Yeah, no, that's great. Okay. Well, Lindsay, if you mapped your career lattice rather than a ladder, what cross functional moves made the biggest difference?
Um, I think that my career trajectory has certainly been I guess a lattice. It's never up and straight up. It's sideways and detours and um honestly the unexpected things were the things that made the difference to me. Um and you know, one example is at one point in my career I was asked to start up a segment for the business that I was a part of with Emerson in a joint venture with a private equity to start up a data center power business. And I said no thanks to the assignment because I didn't know anything about power. I mean, I came from the embedded computing world and that was my focus area. And this was an assignment that took me into an area where I had no product expertise or experience. And a couple months went by where I said no to that assignment and then went back and decided to go for it. And it was the rocket ship of my career. And we built a great business. It was a team effort, but it was that unexpected assignment that um, I had to, be open to and try and be bold enough to even be bold enough to fail at in order to succeed. So for me, I think it's definitely been a lattice and sort of a weird tapestry, both functional assignments, different functional roles, as well as different industry areas that I have been a part of. And so I think it made me who I am today because I love digital infrastructure and I feel fortunate to have spent time in the computing side, the power side, and also in the energy side. And that's really my purpose and focus today.
I love stories like this, especially loved your answer. No thanks. Because you went from a no thanks to your whole world changing and finding something that you really enjoy, that challenged you and probably made you uncomfortable. But the biggest wins come out of those. So thank you for sharing that.
Yes, of course. I love trying new things and I love learning. So, it
Amazing.
takes practice to be open to it every time because I think all of us at work, we get thrown a lot of unexpected challenges and we have to always be ready for that.
Yeah. All right. What unique perspective or strength do you bring to the table that has helped you to overcome challenges?
I think my strength is probably understanding I guess, embracing my weaknesses is
Mm.
my strength. And the reason I say that is because and my team will laugh if they hear this because I talk about it all the time. It's good to be a learn a lot. It's not good to be a know it all. It's good to be a learn it all. And I think you can't really do that unless you can reflect upon the things that you've tried, including your failures, in order to just keep getting better and to succeed the second time around if it doesn't happen the first time around, or take those learnings from that one failure and apply it into what could help you with the next chapter. So I feel very fortunate that I, you know, I don't need to prove myself to people. I would rather learn from other people. And if I'm going to try something and it didn't work, I'll be the first to admit it. But because I always think there's a silver lining there with the learnings. And I know right now in the data center industry, it's just so fast paced and exciting that our DIT team is always trying new things. And I applaud them on that journey because even if it doesn't work out, they're going to learn and they're going to grow and we're going to be even better because of it.
I do want to get to my last question, which is if you could share a defining moment, it could be professional or personal, that reframed how you lead.
Yeah, at one point in that journey that I talked to you about earlier, where I took that unexpected assignment, one of the challenges is that the factories that we needed to build the most complex product we'd ever built for the most demanding customers ever had never created products like this before. And this was a team that I was fortunate to work with for many years, based in the Philippines. And, that group had been kind of neglected. They hadn't gotten the resources and that they needed to grow, and they wanted to grow too. And during that time, as we were trying to automate our lines and build up our infrastructure, I said to the team at one point, if we don't figure this out, we're gonna die. Like I said it in jest. And I was just totally kind of kidding, but kind of serious. And someone said to me, well, if we die, that means we get to see our ancestors again. And they were happy about it. And I was like, oh, no, that's not really what I meant. But then I thought, wow, that's really not a great way to motivate people is to say we're going to die. In other words, wait, let's talk about how we could be successful. So to me, it was a defining moment because I became more self aware of when I want something to happen, how to bring everyone else on the journey and to see things through their perspective and their lens more often. And when you are trying to do something you've never done before, or you're trying to inspire teams, it's better to talk about the upside than the
Mm.
downside. And it's also good to understand what is their cultural and personal motivation. Because if you're trying to get someone on board with you, just telling them what to do falls on deaf ears. We get plenty of to do lists all day at work.
Yeah.
But when it's said meaningfully, and if I know how, Jackie, you're motivated and we're trying to do something we've never done before, then I need to translate that into something that's meaningful to you and your purpose so that, you're with me on the journey. So that was a aha moment for me earlier in my career that I carry with me to this day. And I hold those people you know, very dear in my heart because they helped me see that, oh, wow, I could have delivered this message in such a better way to get everybody on board with what they wanted to do too. So I'm thankful
Yeah.
for that. Again, more failures, but learning from those
Yeah.
failures.
But learning. Yeah. Lindsay, thank you so much for sharing your insights and perspectives. I know it's going to resonate with this community. And thank you so much for allowing us to celebrate you as our Woman of the Week.
Well, thank you. I don't feel worthy of that, but I am honored because I know some of the other women you've featured, and I'm very thankful to you for spending the time today.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
absolutely. I could go on, but the time goes by fast as I warned you. So, community members, please join me in celebrating Lindsay as our Woman of the Week. I'm sure she would love to hear your insights as well. So, please do comment. And until next time, have an amazing week.